Hi everyone, am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Like,
Yeah,
okay.
dear.
Okay. All right. So in the last class, we have seen the different methods to create the servlet. All right. So today the first topic that we are going to start with is what the servlet lifecycle. Actually, we have seen the five methods of the servlet. Okay, and from there we have the three methods like init, service, and destroy, and this is called the life cycle of your servlet. In the init method, you are going to initialize your servlet. In the service method, it is like going to handle the request, whatever is coming to there. And in the destroy, like it can do any work before actually destroying the servlet. So this is the actual life cycle. But in total, like it is going to have the five steps in the servlet type. The first step will be to load the servlet class. So web container find the servlet class file and load. This is from where the servlet lifecycle starts. Alright. So what you have done is you have created the class and put in the container. Okay, so here it has been loaded. Okay, so that will be the first step. The next is what? It has to be initialized through the constructor. Alright, so our default constructor initiate the servlet object. And you do not need to run this constructor. It is by default executed by your compiler. And from here onwards, like the next method is what? The init. Okay, where like you actually going to initialize your servlet. And it runs only once in the servlet life cycle. Alright. And it must be completed before like you are going to make a request for the service method. So this is the syntax of the init that we have already seen. Like here we can pass the servlet config and we can set the value of that. Here SC is what is in a servlet config object that contain what servlet configuration information. Like we can have configuration information in the XML file that is the web.xml, and from there like if you want we can access the information here in our servlet by using this servlet config. We'll see that when we'll be learning the servlet config because servlet config is another topic that we'll see later. Okay, so once it has been initialized, next is what it can handle the request of the client. So here comes the role of uh, what can we say? The service method. All right, so we have already seen the syntax of the service, and here like we can define like what output we want to generate when we'll be having a request from the client. And finally, the destroy method is here we can specify any task that we want, like it should be completed before your servlet will be destroyed. And here the destroy method will execute just before like your servlet is going to be destroyed. Okay, so this is the life cycle of a servlet. In short, you can say init service destroys the life cycle of a servlet. In the init phase, it will be initialized, then it can service to the user where it can produce the output. And the destroy, like you can specify the task that you want to complete before actually the servlet will be destroyed. And after this, like your servlet will become eligible for the garbage collection. Okay. Anyone any doubt in the life cycle? The next we have what the deployment descriptor that we know is what a web.xml file. All right, and here like the first thing that we are going to see is welcome file list. Actually, we have a tag name, a welcome file list, and there we can define a welcome file. Welcome file is what here? It is in a default file. Like whenever you are going to run your project, what file should be executed at. Like so far you have seen, whenever we run our project, it produces the output of the index.html file. So index.html is the by default file that is going to be executed. And here let's suppose if you want to change it to something else, that can also be done here using what? Using this welcome file list command. Okay, that is available in the web.xml. All right. So to show it, let me create a project here. So the example of this. Let's All right. So let me close the display project. Okay, let it inside first. To take some time. Okay, so now go to File, New, on Dynamic Web Project, and name it whatever you like. Let's say Welcome File Demo. Next, next, generate the web.html file. This is compulsory step here, and just finish. Okay, all right. So here is your project, welcome file demo, and here first of all, let me open what web.html file. This is the web.html file. We can say it got our deployment description file, and you can see here it also it already defined the welcome file list command, and within that you can find a element named what welcome file, and you can see like the certain names here. So here what will happen? The first file that is going to be your default file will be the index.html. Okay. So here what will happen? You can see the next we have index.html, we have the index.jsp, default.html, default.html, default.js. So actually what will happen here? Depending upon like whatever the file you are going to have, okay, out of these files, like the name can be anything, like it can be the index or the default, that will be your default file. So here the order, the preference of the file will be from top to bottom. Like let's suppose you have all these files, then the index.html will be your default file. Let's suppose you don't have the index.html file, but have the default.html. But you can see like it is available at the fourth index, so the default.html will become your default file. So here like you can specify the multiple files, and whatever will be the file available in your machine will become your default file. And let's suppose you have all these files, then whatever the file that will come here in the welcome file will become your default file. And if you want to change it to something else, that is also you can do. So for that, let me delete these one. And let's suppose I want to create a file here, let's say test.html. Alright. So this will be my default file here. So the test.html should be there. So let me create the test.html. Right click over it. Go to new uh, HTML file. The name will be what? Test.html. And let me add a simple heading here. This is a demo for welcome file list. All right. So now try to run your project. Right click on your project. Go to run as, run on server. Next. This one. Let's finish. So you can see here, when we run the welcome file demo project for the first time, in a response, it is returning us the test.html file, because you can see like this is the output of the test.html. Alright, so from the web.xml, using this welcome file, we can make any file as our welcome file by defining here. Alright, so this is all about the welcome file list command. Let me know if any one of you have any doubt in this. Anyone any doubt in welcome file list? Then please let me know. The next topic here is what? Please wait a minute. Okay, all right. So the next topic that we are having here is what the servlet request and the servlet response. And what are the servlet request and servlet response? If you remember, while like creating the servlets, we define the service method. All right, and if you remember, within the service method, it takes the two parameter. What are the parameter? Servlet request. Let's say the name is REQ, and the servlet response. Let's say the name is REQ. Okay, so this is the service method here that accept the two parameters servlet request and the servlet response. And I told you here the servlet request will be corresponding to the HTTP servlet request, okay, that the client will send to the server, and the servlet response will be correspond to the HTTP servlet response that will be coming from server back to the client. All right, so here like we are going to see like what are the methods available to these servlet request and the servlet response. Here we will see some of the important methods, and as we already know, like when we create the servlet by using the HTTP servlet, then these name has been changed to what? HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. Actually, HTTP servlet request and the HTTP servlet response are the child of servlet request and the servlet response. Alright, so they, in addition to the methods of the servlet request and the servlet response, also provide you some additional methods. Alright, so these four things we are going to see here, and then we'll see the example of these. First, let's see the theory, means like the methods, some of the important methods available to these interfaces. Alright. So first of all, the JavaX dot servlet to servlet request and the and the HTTP servlet request. So as I told you, like the HTTP servlet request is what? Is a child of the servlet request. So you can see here, the HTTP servlet request interface is inheriting the servlet request interface. So here the HTTP servlet request will be having all the methods of the servlet request plus some additional method. The additional method you can see here in this diagram. So what are the methods available to the servlet request? You can see here the get parameter, the get parameter names, get parameter value, get attribute name, get content type. Okay, all of these we'll see later. Okay, and when like it will be inherited, the additional method that are available to the HTTP servlet board, like the get session, get cookies, get header, get request URL, and so on. Okay, all of these we will be learning. Okay, here, like what are the methods and what can we do with these methods. Okay. So let's see them. Here, we first of all we are going to see a little bit description of them, and later on we will try to we will also try to use them. Like what will be the use case of these all the examples? Will be that using an example. Okay. So the first method that we can see here to the servlet request is what get parameter. Okay. And here it will be expecting a parameter name, and that will return you what value of that. So whenever, like for example, client make a request to the server, request may contain some extra information in the form of a request parameter. Like for example, in a login form, you enter your user ID and password. All right. So whatever will be the value of user ID and password that you need to access at the server side. Okay, and you can access them using this get parameter. Okay, we'll see that. Next is what get parameter values. Okay, if request has more than one value, like for example, you can have a drop down list. Okay, there like you may be having the choice of selecting more than one items. Like you can have the checkbox. Like let's suppose it is asking you your hobbies, so you can have more than one hobby. Okay, so in that case, like you can select multiple options from there. So in that case, what it will return you? It will return in the array. Okay, so in that case, like if you want to get the values, so the method name is what get parameter values. And here, what it will do? It will return you the array of those values. Okay, we'll see that. Next, we have the get parameters names. Like in place of value, you are interested in the names. Okay, like what actually the names of the parameters. So you can make use of this method get parameter names, and it will return you all the names in the form of what? In the form of a enumeration. Enumeration of string type. Actually, here we can say enumeration is a like something that we can say is in collection of what? Some constants. Okay, so here, like it will be in a string constants collection. And how can we create an enumeration? There is a standard way to do that using a loop. Okay, we'll see that in the example. Next, we have the get attribute. This method is used to get what? The value of attribute from the request object. The parameter and the attribute will be the different thing. The parameter are something like that will be reached from client to server, and the parameter there will be what, like in the password field you have entered the password, in the user ID field you have entered the user ID, in the email field you enter the email ID. These all things considered as what, as in parameters. The attribute will be something like, for example, what is the session ID? Okay, what is the cookie? Okay, the cookie session, all these will be considered as an attribute. We will see that later. Okay. So using the get attribute, we can get or we can return and what can we say, the value of an attribute. All right, and let's suppose you want to get the name of all the attribute whatever you are having there. So the method is what, get attribute names, and then again it will return you enumeration of string type. Get content type, like you want to check like what type of content you are going to get. Okay, so it will return you like whether you are having a plain text, PDF, or whatever you are having. Get content length, like this is the method used to get what, the length of the content in the request body, and here the answer it will return in the form of what, in the form of bytes. Okay, so here we have an example like where we'll try to use some of the methods from this, like the get attributes. Okay, these type of method will be used later when we'll be running the sessions, cookies, etc. Okay, all right. So here let me create a new project. Go to file. Let me close the existing one first. Go to file, new, dynamic web project, and let's say the name is what, servlet request demo. That's the tool. Add the deployment descriptor. All right, so here is our project. So first of all, what we'll do, we'll add the index.html file here. Go to new, select HTML file. The name of the file here will be what, index.html. Okay, all right. The content of the index.html, let me copy this from here because you can see here we have a form here, an HTML form. All right, so what we are having here, we define a form. Okay, the form is asking you what, enter your name, and in front of that you can see like you have the name text field. I hope all of you are aware of the forms, HTML forms. Let me know if you are like you don't know about the forms, then I have to tell about the forms first. Are you all knowledge about the HTML forms?
Yes, sir. थोड़ा बहुत पता है.
Okay. So should I tell it again or can I skip it?
Sir, इसके भी sir.
Okay, only Gautam and Nitya. All right. So here, what we are having, first of all, like we are asking the name. Okay, here, like you can enter the name. Then we are asking the hobbies. For that, we have what, a drop down list here, and you can see here we have defined the multiple. Means you will be able to select the multiple values, and by default it will show you the three entries there. Okay, name of the select field is what, hobbies here. Okay, and these are the options from which you can select, and here you can select the multiple options. All right. And one more thing is the form method. The method is what here? Post. As I told you, like here we can specify like what HTTP method we want to use. And I told you like whenever you are having a form, just try to use the post method. Because in case of post method, the data will be encoded within the body of the post request and will reach to the server. Okay, so here I have specified the method. This is how we can specify the method. We can say method equals to get post put update delete whatever we are having with the HTTP protocol. And here we have used what, the post method. All right. And then one more attribute there is what, the action. Actually, what action here is like when I will click on the submit button, means when I will submit this form, where it will be submitted. Okay, so it will be submitted to a page named what, my servlet one. All right. So here the action will be the name of page where your form is going to be submitted. All right, and here we can say like this is the servlet that we are going to create where like we'll try to receive the value that user is going to be entered here. Okay, and up to this point, if you want to see it like how the form will looks like, you can run it. Run server. What? I think I need to restart the server. Okay, it is running now. You can see here, this is your form. That is asking you your name, whatever the name you are going to write here, and the hobbies. And here, like you can see, you can select the multiple entry. And as soon as you will click on the submit button, what will happen? You can see here in the URL, it will take you where to the my servlet one. Okay. So this is the servlet next we are going to create. And what we'll be doing there, we'll try to access the value of name as well as like whatever the hobby is selected by you. Okay, so we want to access these things. And these are what? These all are the parameters here. Alright, so we'll try to access the values there in the my servlet one. And that we can do using what? Using the servlet request methods that we are having here. And one more thing that you should note here is the name of the fields that you are like you here you can see you have an input text field. And what is the name of the text field? You can see the name. Okay, this is important to note. And for the drop down list, what is the name? Hobbies. Okay, because like we can get the values like whatever the user is going to enter here by using the parameter names. Okay, and for the name we have the text field name, and for the drop down list we have the name what? Hobbies. Okay, so the next is what? I have to create the servlet. The servlet name will be what here? My servlet. Okay, so just go to Java resource, right click over SRC and create the package first. Let's say serve. And now within serve, right click over it, go to new and do what? Add a servlet. So click over servlet, name it what? My servlet. And as we can see here, like by default, the URL pattern of your servlet will be the same as your class name. And you can see here the URL pattern what I'm using is my servlet. Alright. So I can keep it at the my servlet one. Next and finish it. So our default servlet will be created for you. And you can also note like the use of the annotations to define the URL pattern. Alright. So here you can see we have the do get and the do post method. And you can see in the index.html we define the method post. So in that case, the do post will be executed, not the do get. So if you want, you can remove the do get. Okay. So here the code is required to be written where? Within the do post. So it is important to note here. Okay. So let me put the try catch here. Okay, and the what will be the code there in the post. Let me copy paste it from here. You can see first of all we get the print writer. Let me just copy paste it. All right, so let's see it. So what we saying? Okay, we have not imported the IO package that need to be imported here, right? Okay. So here, first of all, you can see I got the print writer object out using which I can make use the println method to write anything there. So next is what? I want to get like what the name entered by the user here. Okay, so here the parameter name is what? Name you can see here. So what can I say? Because we know the servlet request here, actually the HTTP servlet request is having a method name is what? Get parameter. Where what can we do? We can specify the name of the parameter and it will return you the value of that one. So here what will happen? Whatever will be the value that we are going to enter there in this text box, okay, will be returned in the form of what? In the form of a string. And here you can see here I have defined a variable name and where I am returning the value whatever the user is going to enter for what? For the name. All right. The next is what? A drop down list where like it has the option of selecting the multiple values. And if you remember, let's see here. You can see like if your parameter is going to return more than one value, then we can use what? Get parameter values method. And here what it will do is it will return you an array of string. Okay, so this is the next method that we can use here for this drop down list. Okay, all right. So here we are saying like request dot get parameter values, and what is the name of parameter? Hobbies. And what it will return us? It will return us an array of string. Okay, like if we have selected more than one value, all the values will be available here in the HP. That will be an array of string. All right. The next is what, let's suppose I also want to get the name of the parameter. So you can see the first parameter name is what? Name. The second parameter name is what? Hobby. All right. So for that, what can I use it? I can use the method name what? Request dot get parameter names. And what it will return us? You can see here, it will return you an enumeration. Okay. And the enumeration is in class, we can say available where? In the util package. Okay, all right. So here you can see I have specified java.util.enumeration of string type, and here is the name of enumeration, let's say parameter. So whatever the name you want to assign it, and request.get parameter. So here in the param names, I will be having all the names available there. And how can I iterate it? Okay, so there is a standard way to iterate an enumeration. Okay, we'll see that next. The next is what? Get content type. So get content type will return you what? The type of content that you are going to be return. Okay. And then next is what? Get content length. That will return you the length of the content in bytes. All right. So now we are going to print all of these things. First of all, we have printed what? The name. Like the employee, whatever the name you are going to enter, that name will be printed here. Has the following hobbies. Okay, as you can see, the hobbies is an array. So what can we do is we can make use the for each loop to iterate. Okay, so all the hobbies one by one will be printed here. The next is what? We have to print the name of the parameter names that we have where in the param names. And you can see here it is an enumeration. So there is a standard way to enumeration. We can make use the while loop, okay, and we'll be like using some of the methods from the enumeration. The first method that we can make use here is what? Has more elements. So what this method will do, it will return you true and false depending upon like whether the next element available there or not. All right. So if there is an element available in the enumeration, it will return you true. So then in that case, the while become true, and it keeps true until all the element will be iterated. And as like no element will be there, so in that case, the while will return you false, and you will get out of the loop. All right. So here you can make use of the method name what? Next element. Okay, the next element will return you actually the element of the enumeration, and it will return you in the form of string because you can see here we have the enumeration of what type? String type. Okay, and we can print them one by one. Okay, so this is how like we can iterate the enumeration. So within the while loop, we'll be using the has more elements function that will return you true and false depending upon whether the next element available or not. And the next element will the method that will actually return you the elements. Okay, and that you can print one by one. Next, we have printed the content type and as well as the content size. All right. So anyone any doubt in this? Then please let me know in the code. Now we are going to run it. But first, let me know if anyone having any doubt in the code. Okay, so now let's try to run it. Run as the server. Okay, let me show you here. So let's say the name is Ajay, and let's suppose I have selected the two hobbies, playing cricket and playing football. So submit it. Oh God, what happened? Try to restart the server. Okay, so now let's try to run it again. Just enter the name, select the hobbies, submit it. Okay, you can say the employee Ajay has the following hobbies. The hobbies gets printed. The parameters name are what? Name and hobbies. The content type is what? Application X www form URL encoded. The content size is what? 58 bytes. All right. So you can see all the things have been like received from client at the server side, and we have just printed them here. Okay, and if like we want to do something with them, we can also like here in place of username and hobbies, we can also ask what the username and password. And here like we want to check like whether the username password are the correct one or not. So that logic can be written here. That we'll do later. But for now, let me know if you are having doubt up to this point. So that's all about what the servlet request, and we can also say the HTTP servlet request. But you can see here the HTTP servlet request is having some additional method like get session, get cookies. Okay, so we'll be learning these methods when we learn the concept of the sessions and the cookies. Okay, and this will be done in some of the next lectures. So these all methods we'll be learning later. Okay. So as we know, like the HTTP servlet request provides some additional method like the get session, get cookies, get header, get queries. So we'll see them later. Like there is uh, no reason to tell you about this right now. Okay, because sessions, cookies are some of the advanced topics. Okay, that we have to cover later on because these are the separate chapters that we have to learn. Okay, next, what we are having, we have the servlet response and as well as what HTTP servlet response. So here the HTTP servlet response will be the child of the servlet response, and in addition to the method of the servlet response, it will be having some additional methods. Okay, what are the methods available to servlet response? Like the get writer that we have already been used. Okay, that return you what? Print writer object. Okay, out using which like we can write anything. We can also set the content type. We can set the content length. Okay, and get output stream. So these are some of the methods that we have like the get writer and the set content type. These two methods we have already been used. Add cookie, add header, encode, redirect URL, encode URL, send error. Okay, these methods will be learned later. Okay. I don't think like there is any need to tell you about this like print writer, get writer. Okay, so get writer return you what? An object of the print writer. Okay, so return you what? The print writer object that can be used to send what text character in a response. That we have already seen like the out there with having method print or println that we can use according to our requirement. The set content type here like you can set the type of content like whether it's in a plain text or a PDF or HTML or whatever you are sending. Set content length. This method is used to set what? The length of the content in response body. Alright. And these are some of the additional methods that are provided for HTTP service response. We'll see them later. Okay, so that's all about it. Look, here we are seeing like lots of theories, lots of the methods here, but like few of them we have used. Okay, and whatever like you can see here are written, but we have not seen the example of them. Okay, the reason behind this is what because these are related to some of the advanced concept. Okay, that we'll be learning later on. Okay, that is why we don't have any example of them for now. But like it is important to know here what are the methods available to each particular interface that we are passing there within the service method. Okay, so if any one of you is having any doubt in this lecture, then please let me know. So here what we have seen the servlet life cycle. All right, we have seen the concept of what the welcome file is. How can we set the default file for our project? And after that, we have seen the servlet request and the servlet response, and also what their child's HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. We have seen also an example of what the servlet request and whatever the methods available to it. Okay, the servlet response methods we have already been used, and what are the additional one? We'll be using them in future. So, anyone any doubt in this? Gautam, Harmeen, Nitya?
No, that's sir.
Okay, all right. Let me check what we are having in the next lecture. The request dispatcher. I think we can complete the request dispatcher today or not. Just give me. Uh, this method will take time. Okay, so even though let me tell you about it. So we have something called as request dispatcher interface that provides us the two method forward and the include. All right. So request dispatcher interface available to the JavaScript servlet package, and the use of it what it is used to receive a client request and can do one of the two things. Either it can forward the client request to some other servlet. All right. Look, after servlet we'll be learning the JSP. That is the next technology that can be used to create the web pages, and that is called what JSP, Java Server Pages. That internally make use of the servlet actually, or like it can also be an HTML file, or it can include some other file into currently executing file. Okay. So like if we want to forward the request to some other page, then we can make use the method name forward. If we want to include the output of the two page file there, then we can make use the method name what include there. Okay. And both of them you can see here are throwing what the servlet exception and the IO exception. Okay, how can we get the object of this request dispatcher? The request is having a method name what get request dispatcher. Okay, that will return you what object of the request dispatcher. All right, and later on this RDB that will the object name, we can make use the forward method or the include method. Like here you can see, let's suppose I will define the home.jsp. Okay, like so let's suppose we have defined what a JSP page here. Alright, so here what will happen? Let's suppose we have used what RDB.forward and it will be expecting the request and the response here. So what will happen? The request will be sent where to the home.jsp page. Okay, and let's suppose we have used the include, like we are saying RDB.include. So in that case, what will happen? Whatever will be the output of the current page, okay, it will also be included with the output of what? With the output of the home.jsp. So it will be having a combined output of what? The current page where you define this code of the request dispatcher as well as the output of the home.jsp. Okay, so these are the two things that can be done using this request dispatcher. Okay, let's see it by diagram here. Okay, this is actually what we are going to do here. Okay, so here we have the client. Client will be having the web browser using which it can make a request. So client make a request for let's suppose servlet one. So now we are going to create the multiple servlet here. So let's suppose the first request is for what? For the servlet one. So you can see through the container the request has reached to the servlet one. So the container sent the request to where? To the servlet one. And let's suppose the servlet one is having the request dispatcher there. All right. So the request dispatcher can have either the forward or the include. And let's suppose in this particular example, it is the forward request. So what will happen in that case? You can see the client has made a request for what? For the servlet one. But the servlet one is forwarding the request to where? To the servlet. You can see here the code is what that is written in the servlet one. The request dot get request dispatcher, and you can see the name of the servlet 2. And you can see RDP dot forward means it is forwarding the request. So actually what will happen from the servlet 1, the request will reach to where? To the servlet 2. Okay, and here the output will be generated by the servlet 2, and the client will be getting a response from where? From the servlet 2. However, you can see the request the client has made to forward for the servlet 1. But the response it will be getting from where? From the servlet 2 here. Alright, so this is what? This is the forward method. Let me know if any one of you is having any doubt. So one of the main thing to note here is what? Just also note the URL. So you can see here in the client browser, the client has made a request for what? For the servlet 1. Okay, but you can see here the response is coming from where? From the servlet 2. So here the URL will not be changed. Okay, so the client will be unaware of the fact like from where it is getting the out. Okay, next we have the include method. So in case of include, what will happen? Again, the client has made a request for the servlet 1, and here the servlet 1 define the request dispatcher with an include method. And here you can see in the request dispatcher, it defines the servlet 2. So what will happen here? The request will reach to the servlet 2, and whatever will be the response of the servlet 2 will reach to the servlet 1. And in here, from the servlet 1, a combined output of the servlet 1 as well as the servlet 2 will reach to the client. Okay, so you can see here the servlet 1 plus servlet 2 response we are going to get here at the client browser. Okay, this is how your include method will. Let me know if anyone is having doubt in these two methods. Now we will see the example of this. Okay, so now let's try to see it by an example where like we are going to create a login form where we'll ask the user the username and password. All right, and like if the user entered the correct user ID and password, then we will return what can we say, a home page to the user. Or if let's suppose the username or password is wrong, then we will like return it what the login page with an error. All right. So let's try to create this. So let me create a new project here. Profile new dynamic web project. So here we are learning what? Request dispatcher tab. Finish it. Okay, so here is your project. First of all, it will be having the index.html page. And if you want, in place of index.html, you can also create a JSP page. Look here, JSP looks like the HTML, okay? But here we can also define the Java code. JSP is in a later topic, but for now, let me show you. So if you want, you can add in JSP page here. So that's totally your choice. Here the name of the page will be your index.jsp. And for now, it will be working exactly the same as your HTML page. And you can see here, it has the same structure as your HTML page. But you know, like in case of HTML, you can't define the Java code there. But here in this page, I can also define the Java code. Okay, that we'll see later. Okay, in here, like we are going to create a login form. Let me copy paste the code. All right. So here you can see I have created a form. The method name is what? Post. And the action is what? The login check. So it is the URL here, like where your form will be submitted. Okay. So here you can say like we are asking the username and the password. All right. So as soon as like user will click on this login button, so the form will be submitted to a servlet name login check that will create later. Okay. So this is what we have done in this index page. So now go to the Java resource and create this login check servlet. Right click on SRC, create a package. Let's say serve, and within serve, right click over that, create what? A servlet. What will be the name of servlet? You can see here, it will be the login check. Login. And the URL pattern will also be the same. You can see here. So just finish it. And here, which method will execute? Do post, because you can see there in the form, the method name is what? Post. So here we are supposed to write the code where within the do post. Okay, just put the try catch here. Okay. So first of all, let's try to create a print writer. Say out is equals to what? Response dot get right. Okay. So next step will be what? Like to check whether the user is a valid one or not, I have to get the value of the username and password that the user is going to be entered here in this form. Okay, so how can I get? Because we have already learned like the request is having a method name what get parameter. There we can pass the name of the parameter, it will return you what the value of that. Here you can see the username text will have the name what T1 and the password text will have the name what T2. By using this T1 T2, I can get the value of username password that will be entered by the user there. So let's say string username, let's say UN is the variable name. The request is having a method name what? Get parameter. And here you can specify the parameter name. For the username, it is a T1. And in the same way, what can we say? The password. Let's say the pass is the variable name and the parameter name is what for the password is the T2. So we got the value of the username and password that is entered by the user there in the variable UN pass. And here I am considering a static the username and password. Like if the username, let's say UN dot equals what? Let's say admin. The username should be admin and password dot equals let's say what 123. Okay, if these will be matched, then we will be consider the user is in a valid one. So in that case, what we have to do? We have to redirect the user to the home page. Okay, so here because we have to send the request to some other servlet or JSP or HTML. So what can we do is we can make use of the request dispatcher here. Alright, so this is what we try to do here. Okay, so just create what the object of the request dispatcher. So you can say like the request dispatcher, let's say RDP is equals to request dot. We have the request dot get request dispatcher, and here we can specify what the name of the servlet or JSP, whatever the page you have created there. Okay, the name of that. Okay, if you are defining the home, that means what? That means you are going to create a servlet. Or if you are like creating a JSP page, the name here will be what? Home.jsp. Okay. And here, what can we say? Because we are forwarding the request, so we can say about rdp.forward. And you can see here, it will be expecting the request and the response of the do post. Okay. Okay. Now let's define the else part. In the else part, so when the else part will be executed, if the user will not be a valid. And in that case, what we want? First of all, we want the user will be redirected to where? To the index.csp page. That will be what? That will be a login page here. Okay. And below that, it should also be show a message like you have entered a wrong user ID and password. All right. Okay. So here, what can we do is we can make use the include method. So first of all, let me create the request dispatcher again. Let's say RTP is equals to request dot get request dispatcher, and the path here will be what? We want the index.jsp. Remember, if you are having the JSP page, the extension should be there. But in case of servlet, the extension is not required. Okay, and here we want to include it. RTP dot include. Okay, after that, what I want output print ln. Let's suppose within the heading, I want the message wrong user ID or password. So if you enter a wrong user ID or password, what will happen? First of all, it will show you the index.jsp page. After that, it will show you this error. Okay, so here what actually we are doing? We are combining the output of the current page. The current page is what? The login check.jsp. And what is the output here? The output of this page will be this one, wrong user ID or password. And we are combining it with what? With the output of the index.jsp. And you can see here what will be the index.jsp? It will be the login form. Okay. So the one more thing that is remaining here is what you can see here. I have defined like if the username and password are the correct one, then the user will be accessing, will be getting the output from where? From the home page, from the home servlet. So this home servlet also need to be created. So again, right click on yourself, go to new, select servlet and name it was home. Go to next and keep it the URL mapping the same as your class name and just finish it. Okay, so what method of this will be executed? Do get or do post. So you can see here, while forwarding the request, we haven't specified the method. So here by default, it will be the do get. So write the code here within the do get. Okay, here it is. Just create a print writer. Let's say out equals to response dot get writer. Okay, we have the writer now, and we can say here, let me add a very simple message h1 h1 welcome to home. Alright. Now we are done with the example and we are not required to define what the URL pattern, because you can see here we have made use of what the annotation web servlet. Okay, the URL pattern has been already been defined for both the servlet. Otherwise, like if you are not using this annotation, then in that case you have to define the details of these both the servlet there in the uh, web.html file. And for the JSP file, it is not required. Okay, so the default page here will be what? Index.js. So right click over your project, go to run as on server. Next, let me remove this one. God, I need to restart the server. Run as run server. Okay, so let me enter the correct one first. Let's say admin and 123. Click over login, and you can see here you are getting what? Welcome to. So actually, what will happen in that case? As soon as I will click on the login button, the request will reach here over the login check page. And what is happening there? You can see first of all it will access the value of username password, and it will check here in the if condition. You can see here the if will be true, and it will redirect it where to the home page. So actually you are getting the output of the home page there. And what is the output of the home page? There you can see here welcome to home. Okay, and this is what you are getting here. Alright, let's suppose you have entered a wrong user ID password. Let's suppose the username is admin123 and password is also. Click over the login button. So what you are getting now? You are getting the login form as well as what? A message like your wrong user ID or password. So from where you are getting this? From the else part. So now the else part has been executed, and there we have used the include method of the request dispatcher that included the output of the index.jsp with the output of this current page. I hope you are getting the point here. Let me know if anyone of you is having any doubt in this example. Anyone? Any doubt? Yeah, anyone any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, all right then. So now we'll be taking a break of 10 minutes. Okay. I think I have already uploaded the slide there. So start doing it and let me know if you'll be stucking somewhere.
Excuse me,